Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. In today's video we are going to talk about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and this is going to be my review of the film. But before we get started, click that subscribe button and turn the notifications on to get notified when these videos come out. Now let's get started. So first I want to say that Indiana Jones is a character that has been with me my entire life. I don't even remember when I watched these movies for the first time. I know that I used to play the Lego Indiana Jones game, or I don't know how many times I have completed that game. I played both games, but the first one with three movies in it, it's a classic, really. So Indiana Jones means a lot to me, and he's I think I can say that he is my favorite movie character, fictional character of all time. I mean, he's so iconic, and Harrison Ford is a perfect casting for him. And I can't forget the thrill that you just have when you're watching those movies, feeling the adventures, especially with the original trilogy ones. And so yeah, Indiana Jones really means a lot to me, and I was very excited for this film because I remember watching Crystal Skull when I was little, and I never disliked that movie. I always liked this movie, and I'm defender of that movie. And to this day, I am still the defender of that film, and it is my least favorite Indiana Jones film. But it's not bad for me. For me, it's not bad. It didn't ruin or anything. But I remember watching that film and just hoping that one day they will release a new Indiana Jones film that I could just go to watch the theaters, because I really wanted a new adventure. And then back in 2016-17, we had a confirmation that a new movie is coming out, new Indiana Jones movie is coming out, and we finally have it. So I want to watch it, of course, on the opening day. I was very excited, but also I was very nervous because of the reviews that I've seen at the Cannes Film Festival, and just overall, just people that were talking about this film going, it's going to be trash or something like that. So I was very nervous. So I wasn't going to this movie with very high expectations, but I was still very, very excited. So what did I think of this film? And I have to say that I really liked it. I really liked this film. I loved how they handled the the character of Indiana Jones in this film and his arc. The movie, by not any means, it's not a perfect film, of course. It's not a perfect film. It doesn't hold up to the it holds up to the overall Indiana Jones franchise, but it's not any close to the original three. But in my opinion, it's better than the Crystal Skull. So it's there somewhere in the middle. But what I just wanted from this movie is to not ruin the character of Indiana Jones to me, and just give him a proper send off, a proper ending. And this is what movie delivered. I loved the ending for this film. I thought it was fantastic. So yeah, this is a spoiler review. I'll talk some spoilers. So yeah, love the ending. But let's analyze the whole movie. So the beginning of the film is in Germany at the end of the World War II, and we see a captured man. They're taking him out of a vehicle, and they take off his bag that they put over his head, and it's revealed that it is Indiana Jones, and de-aged Indiana Jones, a young Indiana Jones. And I gotta say, the de-aging was fantastic. There are, of course, some shots, some scenes where you can see that it is, it's not perfect. You can tell that it is a de-aging, it is a, done by VFX, something like that. I know they used pictures from old Lucasfilm films with Harrison Ford. So yeah, it is great. You can really there are some shots that you just can't tell if that's really de-aging, because it has so much detail in it. It's really great. But yeah, the whole 20 minutes of the film, the first 20 minutes of the film, I think it's probably my favorite part of the film, because just seeing young Indiana Jones, the Last Crusade Indiana Jones, back in action. And yeah, of course, with the John Williams theme, it was fantastic. I really felt like a kid again, and it brought a tear to my eye, really. So basically, Indiana Jones in that scene was they are trying to capture, trying to bring back the train that the Nazis were, the Nazis, filled the train with all the very different artifacts and, you know, really a lot of artifacts. And Indy was trying to stop the train, and he was there with Basil Shaw, who was his friend, co-worker. They were like agents there in Berlin. Like I think it was maybe a reference to the Crystal Skull when Dini was talking how they were double agents in Berlin. With that, I forgot the guy's name in the Crystal Skull, but that double agent, triple agent guy that was betraying it. So I think that's maybe a reference to that. Maybe that guy was somewhere there in Berlin. I don't know, but yeah, let's get back to the Audacity, to this film. So yeah, and the villain was there, Mads Mikkelsen villain, Voller, and basically one of the artifacts on that train was the dial, Archimedes dial, that could change, the course of history. So basically time travel, yeah. At first I was skeptical, but they didn't use that much of time travel in this film. They didn't rely that much on the fantastical elements, so I was fine with it. If they started to break the multiverse or some shit, I would be, I'll be really crazy. I mean, what the hell are they doing, So I think that they didn't go too far with relying on the fantastical elements, which I really liked. So in this film is really kind of a broken man. We cut the scene, goes the black screen, we see Indy waking up in 1969. So he's now old. So he's kind of in a bad position in his life. So basically, what happened is that Matt, the character Matt, his son, went to war and died, and that's what got Marion to leave Indy. So he's now alone. He's retiring. He has no one. So he's kind of a sad, broken man. Then Helena comes up and starts talking about the dial, and you can see just on Indy's face that he was happy that someone just wanted to talk to him. When she said, "Then what are we drinking?" Indy, just made a smile, which it was kind of, I'll say, cute. I really like that moment. So yeah, he trusted Helena in this film. She was kind of an asshole, I gotta say. At the beginning of the film, she was kind of a betraying Indy, but I see what they were trying to do. She was kind of a rip-off of young Indy, fortune and glory and that kind of stuff. And there was this Teddy character who was basically a rip-off of Short Round from Temple of Doom. So yeah, it's like poetry, it rhymes. So yeah, Helena was kind of an asshole, but she got that character arc by the end of the film. Now, what I really liked about this film was also, I mentioned that before, but John Williams always has a great music in this film. He always knows how to deliver, and of course, he never disappoints really. I wanna say that Harrison was really great. This was kind of a film that I'm say that this film had the most emotion out of all of the indie films, and it had this different feel, I would say. Not just because it's directed by a different director, James Mangold. All the previous films were directed by Steven Spielberg. Of course, now this is one by James Mangold. So you can feel that, but also you can feel that it feels kind of can feel the family vibe, I would say, because there is another de-aging scene also with Harrison, of course, which is not set during the World War II. I've seen people actually when they were doing the reviews. No one is talking about that scene. I really like that scene. It kind of reminds me, that I don't know. I like flashbacks. Just basically in movies, I like flashbacks. So yeah, so it had that really emotional feel, this movie, and I really liked it because you couldn't, if you were accepting a big tremendous adventure with Indy. He's Indy in this movie is 70 years old, played by 80-year-old Harrison Ford. So it will make sense for him to do some crazy shit, you know. He's not in his prime anymore. So it is nice to see this different side of him. I mean, I think they've done a great job with you know, they couldn't push it more. I mean, the guy is 80 years old, so you have to do kind of a story that fits that age, that time. So I really liked it. Also, want to mention that Salah was in this film. Salah is a great character. I love Salah. He's one of the my most favorite characters out of the Indiana Jones franchise, and it was nice to see him back. He now also lives in America, and he didn't have a really big part in this film, but it was nice to see him. And I want to mention the Antonio Banderas character. I mean, he was very for a very short time in this film. I don't know why they spent that much money on that kind of actor. I mean, and Antonio Banderas is a big deal, so I don't know why they cast him. But you know, why not? Banderas is Banderas, and you know, he was in this film. He's kind of a friend to Indy who has this ship, so they can go down to dive. Yeah, I think that was really cool. That scene with going to the sea and diving. We never seen Indiana Jones diving. You know, that was very cool. I gotta say. So yeah, Matt Mikkelsen villain. I gotta say, he's great. I gotta say, I really like this villain. This movie has a different type of villains. It's not the whole army because it's like a private, I would say, organization, and which I kind of really like because you can't put a whole army on 70-year-old Indiana Jones, so it makes sense. Now I want to mention some things that I thought I didn't like maybe about this film. Of course, as I said that Helena was at the beginning of the film maybe a little bit, you know, I didn't really like her. But by the end of the film, you know, I started to like her more. Also, I want to say that maybe this film is a little bit too long. In middle, I think it starts to drag a little bit. But, you know, that's just a small problem. So, yeah, I think that the third act of the film goes really fast. I think they should have made those scenes longer. There should have been a fight at the end between, you know, maybe Nazis and Romans. That would be cool to see. But no, they just ended them, you know. The plane crashed, that's it. I thought that was kind of, you know, lazy. But yeah, let's talk about Indiana Jones trying to stay in the past. I see this is gonna be controversial thing, you know, many people I see that this movie is some kind of like a The Last Jedi film, but yeah, let's talk about Indiana Jones trying to stay in the past. So at this point in his life, Indy's broken man, he's sad and he has literally no one in 1969. His son died, there is no father, his wife left him, so he's kind of alone, and he's also retired, so he has nothing to do. Now, his whole life he, you know, studied archaeology. You know, he literally risked his life for you know the history, and it was his whole life. So it makes sense for him to just, you know, want to stay in the past for a few more days before he dies and just to live the best life he can. So yeah, he really is, you know, obsessed, I would say, with history. I would say he really is historian. So I kind of understand it. It was a bold choice, I would say, but I didn't mind it. I was like in the theaters. I was just hoping that he didn't stay there, that they didn't left him there because, you know, that would be a I wouldn't like that ending. But then thank God Helena knocked him out and he's back, and he's back in 1969, and that ending when he wakes up was, I would say, fantastic. Now Helena, Indy just says, "Why didn't you let me there?" Helena says, "You know, you got people here that love you," and he says, "You know, who? I got no one." And then Salah comes in, Marion comes in. It was a really nice moment because it just showed Indy that he still has people and that love him, and he has a family at the end. So at the end, as I said, Karen Allen is back as Marion, and she goes to talk with Indy, and they did the where it doesn't hurt, but she does that, and she shows an elbow, and eventually then they kiss, which means it's another happy ending. And at the end we see like Indiana Jones' hat, and just Harrison Ford pulls it out inside the building, which it was a cool shot, and I really liked it ending. Also, Salah was singing that song from Raiders of the Lost Ark. So yeah, a lot of references. I like that they referenced previous films like Temple of Doom with Blood of Kali and Voodoo Dolls, and Crystal Skull with Mutt, of course, and it belongs in a museum like from the Last Crusade. So I would say this is a proper ending to this franchise, and yeah, I'm not disappointed. And I see people trashing over this film, and I just see I'm very sad that people are actually doing that when they know that this is not a bad film at all. It is at least a good film. Maybe it's not your cup of tea, but it is a good film. And I would just feel so sad for Harrison to see these scumbags talking shit about this film, calling the worst Indiana Jones film, the worst, Disney ruined everything again. I mean, Harrison Ford put his all life in this character. He played this character all life, and we can truly see that this character means so much to him, and he really wanted to make this one last movie to be really good, and he thinks it is, and he just wanted the fans to enjoy it. I mean, Harrison Ford is a legend. He's an 80-year-old guy and he's still playing Indiana Jones, kicking ass, kicking Nazis. You gotta at least appreciate that. So, yeah, I gotta say, it is not a perfect movie, but I really like the ending. It is nice. It stands, it just fits the franchise. A nice ending to the franchise, and I'm just really, really happy that this film didn't disappoint me. So, yeah, thanks all the team. Thanks James Mangold, Harrison Ford especially. So, yeah, I'm really happy, and yeah, we gotta say goodbye to Indiana Jones now. I really hope that they won't do another film or a reboot, but because I'd be so angry. So, yeah, I'm happy with this film, and yeah, let me know down below in the comments what did you guys think of this film. So yeah, that's it from this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you guys in the next one.